easiest way to keep your vintage furniture looking good is preventative measures. So I would recommend that you dust it regularly. I like to just use a duster, a dry duster for this. If you have any tough dirt or stains that do need cleaning, use a microfiber cloth. Use a microfiber cloth, a wet one, just damp. And if it's really tough stain, you can use some dish soap, but no harsh chemicals. If there's any spills, you want to wipe them up immediately. Often these pieces of furniture are veneer, and water is not veneer's best friend. And the last one that I recommend, use coasters. So there are many different types of oils that you can use on your furniture. From Furniture Clinic, I have 2 of them here today. I have a teak oil. It's blends of oils that you can use on indoor or outdoor furniture. And I have a Danish oil. Danish oil was really popular in the 50s and 60s, and there's a good chance that your vintage furniture was originally finished with the Danish oil. This is a blend of different oils with a varnish included. It is still wiped on and wiped off like your traditional oils. For oil application, all oils work with the same principle. You wipe them on, you allow them a certain amount of drying time, and then you wipe it off and allow it to dry further. So it's very important, read the recommended times on the bottle itself. So you should get a time frame on how long to leave the oil sitting, when you should wipe it off, and then how long to allow it to dry afterwards. You're going to just apply your oil to the rag and making a mess here, and just wipe it on. Once you've allowed the recommended drying time, in this case it's been 15 minutes, you want to take your clean dry cloth and you want to remove all the oil that remains on the surface. And you actually want your piece to feel now more or less dry to the touch. There will be a little bit of an oily feel, but you don't want any wetness. And what I do recommend is giving it now 10-15 minutes, come back with your rag one more time. And that's just to catch any other oil that maybe came back up to the surface or wasn't absorbed or you missed the first time. Now, how often should you actually oil your piece of furniture? That depends on usage. Something like this teak coffee table, we use it quite regularly, almost daily. It is cleaned or wiped down a little bit more frequently. So I will oil it about twice a year. Something like my teak sideboard, this I will probably only do every year to 18 months as it's not used so frequently. The number one oil that you want to avoid is pretty much anything you buy in the supermarket. So that's your Pledge, that's your Restore a Finish. You want to also avoid anything that says it has added colors or dyes. And you want to double check that from the oils added, there is no silicone-based product in your oils. Over time, that silicone builds up and it will create patches, a discoloration in your table or in the wood itself. So it's best to avoid anything that you can really buy at the supermarket and go with a proper furniture finishing oil. Now, one of the biggest mistakes people make while applying the oil, and one of the biggest or the most questions I get asked is, I've applied the oil, my surface is now sticky. And that occurs when you allow the oil to dry longer than its recommended drying time on the surface. You do not want the oil to dry on the surface. It will dry sticky. So I want to talk very quickly about a safety element. Oil on rags is a fire hazard. As the oil dries on the rag, it can heat up, which can cause it to catch on, to burst into flame, essentially. So to be careful, I like to put these just in a bucket of water, and then I usually will bag them wet and bring them to my deposit center in town. So with the preventative measures and your oiling schedule, you should be able to maintain your teak vintage furniture for many more years to come.